Hopefully everyone was successful in setting up development environment, and now we can move on to the next phase of our course. Normally, this would be the point where we would download and examine create React app tool. However, there's something I would like to cover first. I understand that everyone who sees the terminal for the first time, this might look scary. And what am I talking about? Well, this is going to be this scary thing over here. So I would like to spend this video to cover the basics of command line and next video on basics of NPM. The emphasis is on word basics because after all, this course is about React. Nevertheless, we will use terminal along the way. So let's get to know commands we'll use quite often. Needless to say, if you are comfortable with terminal and NPM, you can easily skip this and the next lecture. If, however, you're still confused after certain things watching this video, I would suggest doing some digging on more extensive command line tutorials, whether on YouTube or on Google. Your first question is probably very straightforward. Well, what is terminal used for anyway? And the answer is very simple. It's safe to assume that if you're watching this tutorial, you already have successfully tackled the graphical interface of your machine, meaning GUI. Because graphical interface is exactly that. This is your graphical interface. So we have the icons. If we want to open up the browser, if we want to open up the text editor, we can just click on it, or we can, I don't know, look for some more commands or anything like that. However, terminal allows us to control our machine not using the graphical interface, but instead using the command line interface, which is very, very powerful in the long run, even though this looks scary in the beginning. So what would be the basic commands of terminal or the command line? Well, first one would be ls, which would be listing all the directories. Then we have mkdir, which we're going to create a directory. cd is going to be used to change the working directory. And cd with 2 dots will be used to navigate around the directories. If we would like to clear the console, we just need to type clear. And if we would like to access previous commands, we can go with arrow keys up and down. And we might as well have a look how this is going to all work. So let's say first we would need to understand where we at. So where we at currently located in my machine in our terminal. And the easiest way to do that is just type ls. And this is just going to give us a bunch of directories that we are currently having. Okay. So your next question would be, okay, but where exactly am I? And I can just give you a hint that we're going to be in a home directory. Now, in order to get to the home directory, again, we're going to go to the users, then I'm going to go to my user and notice what's happening. And you know what? Maybe list them here like this, and then you'll see that. I have applications, and I have desktop, I have coffee, and all the directories are matching. So I know that by default, we're always going to be in the home directory. Now, let's say we would want to navigate and do something in desktop. So how we would do that? Well, we know that we have the command of cd, and then we can just type desktop. And now in this case, we know that we're going to be in desktop. How do I know in desktop? Well, I can type ls, and I'm not going to see anything here. Well, there's also an option for ls, and then we have the dash of a, and then this is going to show actually all the hidden files as well. But this is a little bit out of the scope of our current course, so let's just leave it with an ls. Okay, so we know that we are in a desktop. And by the way, it tells us here also. Why don't we create a directory? And we already know how we can do that. So we're going to have mkdir, and then we would need to come up with the name of the directory. Maybe, again, let me zoom in a little bit more because hopefully you're going to be seeing this better. And then just write the directory of the example. And what I'm seeing here all the way on the right-hand top corner is my example directory. Here I have a few options if I would like to navigate to this directory. I can type cd, and again, I'm going to be going to the example. So that we're going to navigate to this directory. And if I would want to navigate out of the particular directory, I would need to type cd and then 2 dots. So now you can see I was in the example. However, we navigated back out into the desktop. So we also have an option of how we can navigate to the example folder. And that one is to type cd, and then we can just drag and drop the folder where we'd like to navigate. Now, this is going to work with the folders that you have on a desktop, as well as the folders that you have, let's say, in a document. Just drag and drop it in my terminal, and this is going to be navigating to that particular folder. You want me to show you? So let's say we drag and drop it, and once we're going to press return or enter, we will going to be navigating to this particular folder. Well, what other commands we had? I believe we had a clearing of the console. So I can type to clear the console, and this is going to clear my console. As well as I had an option of accessing the previous commands, because there's going to be cases where you're like, well, I don't want to retype this and retype it again and again and again. So what we can do is, like I said, we can look for the previous commands with an arrow keys. So if I press arrow up, notice I'm getting my last command. You want to go even before that? Okay, so this is going to be my CD. Then I have the CD two dots, and so on and so forth. So these would be the basics of the command line. And I just want to tell you that it is not as scary as it looks like. And adding this to your developer tool build is going to be very, very beneficial in the long run.